Hello there and welcome back to the dam. Today's video will be a continuation on my fast 386 series, and if you haven't already seen the first 3 videos, I will recommend that you take a look at them before watching this one. Link is in the description below. And that is a recommendation I have given in my previous videos as well. But it is apparently not a recommendation that most of my new viewers are willing to follow. When I scroll through the comment section of my last video, many have left the comments and suggestions for my build that I have already covered in the first 2 videos. And I totally understand that. YouTube has a lot of videos to offer, and my videos might be a bit long and boring at times. So to bring all viewers up to speed, I will start this video with a summary of what I have done in the previous 3 videos, combined with the improvements I have made for this video. I will also make a list of things to do in the next video in this series, plus a list of topics to cover in future videos on this channel. And let's start off with some of the many why questions, like why am I spending so much time on upgrading and optimizing an old 386? Just get a Pentium and you have a much faster DOS computer. And why are you even bothering with these 386/486 upgrade CPUs when you can get a real 486 on eBay for under 20 bucks? I'm doing this 386 upgrade and optimization because I like to do it. It is not because I want a fast DOS computer to play Doom on. And I can't explain it more than that. It's just a hobby and an interest I have that I would like to share here on YouTube with other people with the same interests. So that's why. I totally get that a Pentium machine would make a much faster DOS computer and run Doom at a constant 35 frames. But that's really not what I am aiming for here. I also understand that many other people on YouTube already have done similar things, and with much greater results than mine. I don't have the level of hardware in my possession to come even close to building the fastest of anything here on YouTube. But that is not gonna keep me from trying to build the fastest 386. I can at least see how far I can push a 386 motherboard with whatever hardware I have in my possession. In the first video we took a look at 5 different motherboards for this fast 386 build. 3 of them were what I would classify as regular 386 motherboards, and 2 of them were these combined 3 and 486 boards. And I decided to classify these combined boards as a 486 and omit them from this video series. Other people might have classified them as 386 and included them. This is just my opinion, plus I have to somehow limit the scope of these videos, otherwise they would never come to an end. But that is not the same as I don't find these boards interesting. I for sure do. So to all the people who have commented and mentioned that I should take a look at these combined boards, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will do a dedicated video on these boards at some point in the future, so we can compare their performance to the results from this video series. Ultimately, I ended up with 3 qualified motherboards, and from that I picked the one from Joint Data Systems as the board for this fast 386 build. In the second video I started off by picking these 5 CPUs from my collection that are all compatible with the PGA 132 socket that the motherboard comes with. Only one of them is a quote-unquote true 386. The other 4 is these hybrid 386/486 CPUs. And oh boy, have this sparked some debate in the comments section. Some seems outright angry because I have dared to classify these CPUs as 386. And to that I will say, take it easy. This is just for fun and mostly to satisfy my own curiosity. So don't take my videos too serious. This is not a video about classifying old obsolete CPUs. It's just me tinkering with my hobby and sharing it on YouTube. That's all. Next, I picked these 8 sticks of RAM with a capacity of 1 MB each, because this project needs RAM. They are not anything special. In fact, they are some pretty slow RAM rated at only 70 nanoseconds. And that might become a bottleneck for this 386 build. So in the last video I said that I would take a look at some faster RAM in this video, and I might have promised too much there. The fastest 30-pin SIMs that I currently have is these 16 MB sticks that you might have seen me make in a previous video. They are rated at 50 nanoseconds and has a capacity of 16 MB each. Unfortunately, this motherboard is not happy with these 16 MB sticks, at least not in its current configuration, so I need some sticks with a lower capacity. And for that, I had initially planned to remove the chips from these 1 MB sticks and replace them with these chips instead. They also have a capacity of 1 MB and are rated at only 35 nanoseconds. And I believe that is the fastest chips that I have ever seen capable of running in FPM mode. Unfortunately, the pinout of these faster chips does not match any of my existing RAM. So to use these ones, I will have to design a dedicated PCB. But that will not be in this video. It will have to be put on the to-do list for the next video in this series. For now, all my testing will still be done with these RAM rated at 70 nanoseconds. For the cache, I picked these 256 kilobit chips rated at 15 nanoseconds, and they are still the chips that I use. I have these chips rated at 10 nanoseconds, but they are of the 32-pin variant, and my motherboard only has the 28-pin sockets. That can of course be solved by doing a mod like this, inspired by YouTuber Athetas, where I have wired up some 32-pin sockets to go on top of the 28-pin sockets, but after testing them, they don't seem to improve my results in 3D Bench or Doom. So for now I will just use these ones rated at 15 nanoseconds and put the faster 10 nanoseconds on the to-do list for the next video. In relations to cache, I found this page on Vogons where a user is describing a always dirty mod for the chipset that I have. And I have of course also tested that mod, and in benchmarks like cache check, it for sure seems to speed up things. But when running benchmarks like Doom and 3D Bench, this mod actually seems to slow down things. So I am not sure about the benefits of this mod. Maybe I would get a different result if I paired it with some faster RAM. In any case, I will add it to the list of things to do more research and testing on for the next video. Next, let's talk a bit about the CPU overclocking. In the previous video, I showed you how I made this contraption for adjusting the frequency, and I will say this thing has performed exactly as I had hoped for. It is running very stable and precise, so I am very happy with what I have made here. I also showed you these two mods for increasing the voltage on the 5 volt rail. But opposite to my adjustable clock mod, these two mods did definitely not work as I had hoped and intended them to do. So since the last video, I have instead modified this power supply, and as you can see here, I have added this small multi-turn potentiometer for adjusting the 5-volt rail. It has 25 turns, and each turn adjusts the voltage about 0.02 of a volt. That gives me the ability to adjust the 5-volt rail to anything between 5 and 5.5 volt. For my testing that I will show you in just a bit, I have set the voltage to 5.25, and that is really as high as I am comfortable with. I could probably go a bit higher, but you only learn what the limit is when the magic smoke escapes, and I am not yet ready to let that happen, so 5.25 it is. The voltage side of the overclocking does of course not apply to the BlueLightning3 CPU. It has its own regulator that delivers 3.6 volt to the CPU regardless of the voltage on the 5 volt rail. To overvolt this CPU, as some viewers have suggested I should try, I would have to swap out the onboard voltage regulator, and I am not sure I am ready for that. But I will still be running this CPU at 5.25 on the 5 volt rail, just to give the RAM, the chipset, the graphics cards, and so on a bit higher voltage to work with. Another thing that I have done since the last video is changing the BIOS. The OEM BIOS for this motherboard is the 386 BIOS from AMI, but that is definitely not unleashing the full potential of this motherboard. So I went onto the retro web and searched for other motherboards with the same chipset as my motherboard has. And at first, the search result showed an overwhelming 93 boards. So I adjusted my search to only include boards for the 386DX processor family. That brought down the number to 27, and from there I started comparing and testing. And to make a long story short, all my testing pointed me to the Mr. BIOS from the P&Q M351 as the best performer for my motherboard. And that is also in line with the recommendation for a BIOS I have received on my previous video. So that is the one I will be using for today's testing. During my testing of these different BIOSes, I also tested the 486SXL-40 from Texas Instruments that claims to have 8 KB of level 1 cache. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to make this CPU run with that 8 KB of level 1 cache in this motherboard. And I am not sure what I am missing here, but no matter what I try, it just keeps refusing to expose its level 1 cache. I am almost starting to think that this CPU is a fake. It has a marking on the bottom saying AMD Taiwan, but as far as I can Google, AMD never manufactured the CPUs for Texas Instruments. So is this a fake? Or is it just not compatible with this motherboard? Let me know in the comments below what you think about this CPU. For today's testing, I have also removed the Math coprocessor, as some viewers have suggested. It could be holding back the CPU, and since it is not needed unless I am running something like Quake, I might as well remove it. For the video card, I am still running with this card, featuring the Zenlabs ET4000AX and 1 MB of VRAM rated at 70 nanoseconds. Some viewers have suggested that this is not the fastest ISA VGA card in existence, and they might be correct about that. but I have tested the 15 or so ISA VGA cards that I have, and this is definitely the fastest one of them. At least for the benchmarks I will be running today. And with all that said, let's move on to the results of my testing. And here we have my spreadsheet for the test results. I will go through the results for each of the 4 CPUs I have tested. And after that, I will do a quick summary and conclusion on this video. And for those who want to see the individual benchmark runs and the Doom slideshows, I will put them all in the very end of this video. So after my final summary and conclusion. If you would like to watch them, you can, but it is absolutely optional. Let's first have a look at the results from my last video. And as you can see, we didn't do too bad, but we were limited by the OEM BIOS from AMI. No matter what I did for the BIOS settings, the ISA bus stayed at 8 MHz. And that is of course limiting the performance of this build. But despite that, we still managed 34.6 frames with the IBM BlueLightning3 at 117 MHz. What I forgot to test in my previous video was the Cyrix 486 DLC, and I also didn't do the PC player benchmark, but I will correct that in today's testing. So now let's have a look at the latest test results. And here you can see that with the new BIOS from Mr. BIOS and the increased voltage, I managed to push this 386DX-40 from AMD to 50.25 MHz and the ISA bus to 25.125 MHz. And for that we gained a small performance boost of around 10%. And that is a bit more than the 3.6% increase in raw clock speed on the CPU. And that almost have to be because of the increased frequency on the ISA bus. For the Cyrix 486 DLC, I managed 52 MHz, and I kept the ISA bus divider at 2, so 26 MHz. And that gave me these results. The Cyrix DRX2 could not run at as high a frontside bus as the DLC, but it still outperformed it. And that must be because of the internal clock doubling to 84.5 MHz. And this is the results for the IBM BlueLightning3. I have tried different combinations of internal clock multiplier and frontside bus, and this configuration was the best. It did run at a slightly higher frontside bus with the internal multiplier set to 2, but it didn't do that great overall. A multiplier of 3 gave me the best results. As you can see, the IBM still came in first for the 3D bench, but taking the other results into account, I will say that there is a new king in my collection of CPUs for the 386 socket, and that is the Cyrix DRX266. So now it's time for the conclusion, and what did I learn from making this video? First, the Mr. BIOS and its ability to run the ISA bus at more than 25 MHz definitely was the big game changer this time. Second, I will mention that I have tried these silicone pads and also this thermal paste. And compared to running the cooler with nothing at all between it and the CPU, these made absolutely no difference. And finally, I have some additions to my to-do list for the next video. Someone in the comments mentioned fast Doom, and just to let you know, I am aware of that project. I have deliberately not included it in this series, since I want to focus on hardware optimizations. But since there seems to be an interest among some of my viewers to see how it will perform on my 386 build, I will add it to the to-do list for the next video. Someone also mentioned the Z386, an open source 386 FPGA CPU. I have not yet dived into that project, but I might do so in the next video in this 386 series. And speaking of the next video, it will probably be sometime before I get around to it. I first need to make some PCBs for the 35 nanosecond RAM chips that I have, and that is not on my schedule in the near future. So for now, I will put this 386 build aside and move on to some of the other retro hardware that I would like to cover on this channel. In any case, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to press the like button. And remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss the next installment in this series. And I will see you in the next video.